What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another War Thunder video. I wasn't going to talk about the fire extinguishers and parts debate, but after seeing yesterday's stream from Shawn and Keith, who are official employees of Gaijin, I really had to say something. Because it was obvious that they don't seem to quite understand what people mean when they want free FPE or fire extinguishers and free parts. Shawn actually equated giving people free parts and fire extinguishers as the same as giving everyone a free attack helicopters and a free Abrams. And that's not what people want. Don't get me wrong, I would love to have free helicopters and free Abrams, but that's all beside the point. What most of these players really want is, right out of the box, when you get a new tank, you get a single use of fire extinguisher and a single use of parts. It's what I refer to as a quality of life change. When War Thunder is completely different from the other game, the other tank game. In that game, the damage mechanics are completely different. You can tank a lot of shots sometimes. In War Thunder, one shot and you can die. That isn't very often the case in the other game. And so a quality of life change is welcome. And actually Gaijin did this a while back. It's actually quite some time ago, when they made sure that you could repair your tracks when you get those blown off. You didn't have to sit there in the middle of the battlefield taking shots and dying because your tracks got blown off from artillery or whatever. They automatically repaired. It was a quality of life change that was welcomed at the time. And that's what we're talking about with free FPE and fire and parts. It's just a single use, and then when you unlock the parts and fire extinguishers, you get the regular version. You get unlimited repairs, you get what is currently 2 fire extinguishers, although I would certainly be welcome or be open to an addition to that, maybe 3 uses of the fire extinguishers once you unlock it. Because what you're then doing is you're giving players additional value for that fire extinguisher. If you give everyone a single use of a fire extinguisher and parts right out of the gate, there will be people who will not obviously buy those modifications with golden eagles, as is expected, right? If you can save some money, go ahead and do that. But if you give some added value to those modifications, to the fire extinguisher in particular, then you might still be able to entice people to buy those modifications with golden eagles, especially at top tier. In tier 5 and 6, where the grind gets really rough, those modifications are really, it takes a long time. It takes multiple games, even with a premium account, to unlock them. And having fire extinguishers and parts, that's a pretty big deal. And speaking of fire extinguishers, how about we buff fire extinguishers in an additional way? How about we revert the cooldown that was added a while back? Right now, if you use a fire extinguisher to extinguish a fire, there is a cooldown on that next fire extinguisher. I don't know offhand how long it is, but you can lose your tank because of that cooldown. Because you get shot again, you get set on fire, and you can't extinguish that fire. Let's get rid of that whole cooldown mechanic and buff fire extinguishers, or better yet, put it to the vote of the community, Gaijin. What does the community want? One of the most frustrating things about all of this is that there's a distinct lack of communication from Gaijin, and that's not always been the case. There have been times where Gaijin has been very good at communicating with the community. One of my favorite times was, well, a while back during a rather controversial video that was released from Fly Daily that involved him showing a tank player using ESP cheats, basically. Now, one of the things that came out of that whole debate was, what does Gaijin do about cheaters? And how does that affect Tank RB? Does Gaijin continue to pursue the cheaters and ban them? Or do we add markers back to Tank RB? Because that was an actual poll on their forums that they posted. And I believe it was Anton himself, the CEO, who posted that. And frankly, I loved just them being open and asking the community what they wanted. They could do the same thing with fire extinguishers parts, the fire extinguisher cooldown, everything. Every time they release a new major update, they include a poll a couple of days after the release of the update, so that they can gauge feedback. You could do that same thing. Just communicate with us, Gaijin. That's what we want more than anything, perhaps. And on the topic of added value, we come to another topic that was brought up quite a bit before this whole FPE and parts debacle or debate. It's not quite a debacle, but it's the economy, especially at top tier, at tier 5, tier 6. The repairs get ridiculous. The ammunition, some of the ammunition options get very expensive, and a lot of people in Tank RB at least aren't able to make very much money. Silver Lions. So how do we fix this? We could continue to do the same that we've done for the past couple of years, and every few months release Gaijin releases a spreadsheet, usually on Google, that includes a list of all the vehicles and a small silver lion change in terms of the repair cost. And it's usually some bizarre number. It's never a round number like 1,500 silver lions or 1,000 silver lions. It's some weird number, and it's because they obviously have to use some sort of formula or algorithm to calculate how much we're going to add or reduce to the to the repair cost of the vehicles. Why don't we just for a while get rid of all of that and instead examine something that would benefit both the users as well as Gaijin? And that is, let's buff premium accounts. What do I mean by that? Well, a premium account gives you plus 100% RP and plus 50% silver lions to all of your actions. Why not just buff the silver lions to 100%, just like the RP? It's always been 50%. As far as I've been around, why not just make it 100%? It benefits everyone who has a premium account. Well, how does that help? How does that benefit Gaijin? By adding value to premium accounts, you give people who are on the fence about buying a premium account an additional reason to purchase it. I remember a long time ago, this is probably 3 years ago, Anton made a post on Reddit that included some statistic about how many users have a premium account. Now, obviously, it would take forever for me to find that comment, and it would be completely inaccurate by now. But it stands to reason that probably only 20% or 30% of the player base has the premium account, and may even be less, because remember, there are a lot of War Thunder accounts. How many of them are actually active on a daily basis or weekly basis? Probably not that many, right? Now, don't get me wrong, I know that there are a lot of free-to-play players who will never, under any circumstances, pay a single penny towards this game. And that's completely fine. That's to be expected. But there are also other players who are just on the verge of buying premium accounts because they want to get those new vehicles. They want to get the Tier 5, Tier 6 tanks. They want to get those jets. They want to get helicopters. They want to even get boats as the boats get expanded. Or do you prefer Navy? I don't know. Whatever you want to call the naval part of the game. Some will only call them ships, whatever. But you know what I mean. The point is, the game is expanding more so than ever. The amount of content in this game is immense, and there's only going to be more. We're only going to get bigger vessels, faster, more expensive vessels, and we're going to need more Silver Lions to purchase these. We're going to need Silver Lions for attack helicopters, for submarines. Yes, submarines are going to happen. If Gaijin can find a way to make the gameplay interesting and make a profit, they're going to add them. Same way with battleships and literally any other unit you can think of. It'll happen. And all of this brings me to what's coming up, and that is The next anniversary. The next anniversary is only about 1 month away. And what happens every year? They announce sales. We're kind of riding a really interesting high here of buzz with attack helicopters and new top-tier tanks. I mean, this is pretty exciting stuff right now. This is a great time to announce that as part of your anniversary, that your 12-month premium time will not only be 50% off as per usual, but we're also going to buff the Silver Lion gain for all in-game actions from plus 50% to plus 100%, bringing it within line with the research points gain for premium accounts. That would buff premium accounts, thereby giving additional people some added incentive to open their wallets and buy some premium account time, either in the 3-month or the 12-month variants, which are usually 50% off during the anniversary sales. As much as I would like to see repair costs reduced for some vehicles, the truth of the matter is that this just hasn't worked very well over the past, and it's time to try something else. Let's reward those who are willing to pay for the game and support the game with their own money by giving them some added silver lines. More tanks, more planes, more attack helicopters, more naval units, they're all coming next patch, and it's becoming a little bit more difficult to pay for it all, especially in Tier 5 and 6. Anyway guys, you know what to do. Sound off in the comments. Thank you all very much for watching.